Good morning. This is Brad Horn from PTS, one of the co-founders here at PTS, and I'm sitting next to Howie Heckman, one of our lead developers. And today we're going to do a webinar on Do More with TracerPlus 8.1, our latest release. The first thing, and the reason I'm on this webinar is I just wanted to do a little house cleaning and just give everybody an insight of what PTS is up to over the next 6 months to a year. So on the horizon, we have a number of projects we're actively working on and beginning to working on. The first thing you'll see here is we have our Clearstream RFID 3.0 release coming out within the next 6 months. For those that don't know, we have a fixed RFID product. It's called Clearstream RFID. It has its own website, which is clearstreamrfid.com. It's becoming very popular, much like TracerPlus. It's meant for non-programmers and programmers alike. In our 3.0 version, we're going to introduce new single reader multi-destination architecture, which means you're going to be able to do multiple tasks with an RFID reader, sending data to multiple destinations. So let's do it. For instance, you want to do a check-in, check-out of employees who have a certain type of RFID badge, and you want to do an inventory check-in, check-out of stock with another RFID tag. If both of those tags walk through the reader at the same time with antennas and are read, the data is going to go to different locations. So it's a pretty powerful feature, and we're really excited about it. We're even more excited about our patent-pending fixed RFID simulator, which will be out. It's both a sales tool, so it allows people to demonstrate RFID with not actually having an RFID set up at a customer's location, and also it assists in the install of our RFID application. So if you haven't seen that yet, please make sure you ask about it to your sales reps, and we'll try to get a demo set up. It's a really great technology that we're working feverishly on. We also have another TracerPlus 8. We're not sure of the number yet, release. That'll be out by the end of the year, so we're doing the 8.1 today and talking about that, but we have another 8. Release. So we have a lot going on with TracerPlus. Two of the big features, amongst many, is we're going to introduce radio control buttons, which is long overdue. And then we're going to introduce a really neat feature, which is a timer control. So for instance, is you can set up a timer to auto-submit a session without user interaction. So imagine GPS coordinates being set up on a session, and you want to do some breadcrumbing of where someone goes. You could set that up. It could be a hidden session, let's say, and behind the scenes, the GPS coordinates are being entered as the worker is moving through his day. And then finally, the big picture, where we're going, our TracerPlus 9 release, we're going to be working on. It's going to have our first entry into reporting. It's going to be a pretty powerful but simplistic report engine that's going to allow you to do a bunch of different things. It's going to be a great feature for those who are, let's say, struggling with report writing, may not have the time to do a report, may not have a back-end database. The current out-of-the-box systems for asset tracking or whatever may not work. This is going to be a great alternative. We're going to introduce form logic, and the big question mark, which probably won't make our TracerPlus 9 release, but we are, even today, working on iOS, and we're really interested to hear what you guys think about all these new things we have going on. We really want to hear your questions. We're not going to take them right now, but we're going to take them at the end of the webinar, so make sure you type them in now so you don't forget about them. So with everything said, let's get to what we're here for, and it's our 8.1 release, and I'm going to turn it over to Howie Heckman, one of our lead developers. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. All right, thanks everybody for joining us today. Again, my name is Howie Heckman, one of the developers here at PTS, and I'll be walking you through not exactly what's on the horizon here, but what we just released in our TracerPlus 8.1 version. And I'll kind of go through here, talk about the features, and then kind of show you how they're set up in TracerPlus Desktop. And again, as I go through all this, if you guys have any questions on anything here today, please definitely type them in your question panel at the end of the webinar. Okay, so with that, I'm going to jump over actually to the biggest feature that is both exciting and not exciting at the same time. TracerPlus for a long time, and a lot of our customers and developers using the TracerPlus Desktop tool have requested an undo feature in the form designer. It's something that's long overdue, and something we really buckled down to add into this 8.1 release. So we have released an undo function for TracerPlus Desktop, and it's an unlimited undo. So no matter how many stages you go through in your form design, you can go ahead and hit Control-Z all the way back to the to whatever state you'd like to be in the past, or if you happen to make mistakes or something like that, you can undo those mistakes. So I will jump out of the webinar, and I'm going to kind of mix and match going back and forth between the feature and showing you how they work in TracerPlus Desktop. But here is version 8.0, and if I do go to the form designer and add some fields or something and move these fields around, I can, up on the top here, or hit the Control-Z button, go ahead and back everything up as I need to. So as I add items to these, or if you make a mistake and move things around, you can go ahead and just undo it all the way back to the state that you require. So that's kind of the biggest feature for, I guess, the current users of TracerPlus Desktop, because it has been such a requested feature. It's both exciting and not exciting at the same time, but it is something that now is available in our 8.1 release. So I'm sure many of you who have been using TracerPlus Desktop will be very excited to see that. Okay, now on to some of the other features within TracerPlus and TracerPlus Desktop. We added a lot to version 8.1 here. The first one is a custom SQL variable type. Now, a lot of our users needed to get data out of the TracerPlus database on the handheld in a way that maybe they had to come up with some workarounds or different settings within using the TracerPlus Desktop features, when it would be more simple for especially database guys or programmers to actually just pull that data out as they need it using just a SQL query. So within TracerPlus Desktop, you now have the ability to custom write SQL queries in any one of your fields and actually report on the data out of TracerPlus or that's been collected within TracerPlus and write your own custom SQL. So to do that, you change the field to a variable, go to the variable options, and just change it to SQL. And you can type in your custom SQL command here, and you can pull any data that you may need to out of the TracerPlus data and display it to the user. Now, for people that would like to test that, we actually already have a solution up on our Solution Center that actually goes and shows that feature, and it actually does a summing function through a SQL query. So it actually sums the inventory at a location, or based on the location, not just the item. So you can get a full count of every item that is at a particular location based on the SQL query that was written for that solution. So again, I think it's in the inventory section, but for those of you that like to take a look, it is up on the Solution Center right now. We added a GPS averaging function for much higher precision GPS coordinates. Now this is a new button action in TracerPlus Desktop. It allows the user to press a button on the form. It brings up a dialog that will then start taking GPS coordinates. And when those GPS coordinates are complete, you can go ahead and it'll average the coordinates out so you get a much more accurate reading. And just to show you kind of how that works, if I went back to the form designer here, added a button to my form, I could go ahead and name this button, put the caption GPS, change the button action to be GPS average, and then you'll have some additional settings here for this button. Now, the first one is the sample count. That's how many GPS readings it will take. Now, the higher the count, the slower the reading, but the more accurate the result. So you could go ahead and bump this to 100, and it's going to take 100 readings before it actually spits out the result into your GPS field. You can also set something called a minimum precision, and this is actually set in meters. Excuse me. Now, each reading that's taken has a precision value that's calculated based on what the reader thinks will be the accuracy of that reading. So it'll say, okay, I have a reading that's at longitude 41 degrees, and I think that's within a 300-foot accuracy. You can throw that reading away because it's not accurate enough for what you want to include in your results. So you can add that minimum precision as well. So it's another way of narrowing down and making the reading more accurate to within a couple of meters by throwing away bad readings. That will also, as you reduce that value, it will take longer to get the readings, but you have to kind of trade off as to what type of accuracy you want with the readings in the results that will be displayed in the TracerPlus field. Okay, the next feature here is actually a custom file import and export option. Now this actually allows the user on the handheld to customize what file is being imported into TracerPlus, as well as the custom file name and file as it's exported out of TracerPlus Desktop. Just to really show you quickly, here's a Windows mobile device that I have hooked up to my PC here. If I wanted to do a custom import, I would just go File, Import, and then Custom. And this allows you to pick the session you'd like to import your data into, and then actually just navigate to the file on the handheld that you'd like to import. So no longer do you have to make sure that that file name is loaded per the session that you'd like to import it into, or even worry about where the file is located on the device. You would just copy your text file from whatever it may be over to the handheld, and then you can select it through this dialog to import it into TracerPlus, and also select which session you'd like to import that into. On the Android side, that's done just in the same way. I do have an Android emulator here. You would click the menu button up at the top, hit Import Custom, and then you can go ahead and select the session and file that you would like to import that flat text file into. Okay, minimize that. We've added a new increment and decrement counter buttons. I won't show this one, but basically it's another button action on the form that allows you to, every time you tap the button, increment a field value or decrement a field value based on the value that you put in for that button. And it's a quick and easy way to go ahead and add maybe an inventory item. Every time you see something, you just tap a button, it'll increment that value, and then that value would be located in the field that the button is tied to, and you can go ahead and submit that data. So it's a really quick way of doing an increment-decrement function rather than needing to use some of the calculated field options like you may have in the past. We added the TracerPlus for Android date-time picker. This was kind of a limitation in the 8.0 release. For a date-time picker on the Windows mobile side, you could pull up a calendar that allows you to select a date and time. We have now added that on the Android side as well. So when you set your data type to a date time, you turn on the Use Pop-Up feature. You now can display the calendar on an Android device so that you can select the date and the time and place that into the selected field. So that's something that was kind of a limitation of the 8.0 release that we had on the Windows mobile side, but now we've just brought that Android side to match Windows mobile in that feature. We've also, for 8.1, we've released sample applications that are included by default with the application. So if you download TracerPlus Android from the Google Play Store or from our website, when you open up the application, it will be pre-built with some sample applications for inventory asset tracking and things like that. So it's a much easier way to actually test the application without actually deploying anything from TracerPlus Desktop. And it's a nice, clean way of seeing those pre-built applications. And those pre-built applications are also available on our Solution Center. So we have uploaded those to the Solution Center so that if you ever wanted to go back to them or maybe deploy them to another device, you can go ahead and get them from our Solution Center as well. Also on the TracerPlus Android side, being a lot of these devices, especially the high-resolution tablets, are TracerPlus is being deployed to, we've added a signature pop-up sizing feature. Because the signature size on sale, very, very large tablet by default, was a little too small. You couldn't sign a nice big signature on there. So for the Android side, we've made it customizable for that size. And to do that, you simply would go to the field settings when you change your field type to be a signature. On an Android side, you can set the dimensions of your signature canvas that you'd like to display to the user. So you can put a nice big signature canvas on there. So things like a tablet, you can fill up most of the screen with the canvas for signing signatures. And lastly, here for these 8.1 features, I have one more slide of additional stuff. We've made vast improvements in the performance of TracerPlus Connect, and mainly in the live mode settings. So for many of you that were using TracerPlus 8.0, if you had some performance problems or just you wanted some performance improvements in the TracerPlus live speed for the live sessions, we recommend downloading TracerPlus 8.1 and installing that. You will see vast improvements in the speed of live mode. We've reduced a lot of the overhead between the handheld and the TracerPlus Connect side, and it is much faster for a lot of situations now for TracerPlus Connect live mode. Okay, and then the next slide here we have a lot of improvements. This is the last 8.1 slide, but RFID improvements for TracerPlus 8.1. We've spent a lot of time trying to improve how fast the mobile reader can read tags, and we've made great strides in how much faster the tag reading performance is. We've also added some other features here, including being able to read the user memory bank of a tag in conjunction with the EPC memory bank. So just to show you that, previously when you wanted to read the user memory bank on a tag, you would have to kind of stop what you're doing after you read an EPC tag and say, okay, now read and give me the context contents of the user memory bank. Now in TracerPlus 8.1, if you're using an RFID scanning session and you want to read the user memory bank as well, so there's a checkbox here for Read User Memory Bank during scan. And when you turn that on, both memory banks will be interrogated by the reader, and both of the results of those memory banks can be then placed in TracerPlus fields. So no longer do you have to read an EPC tag, press the Read User Memory Bank button, and then have that user memory bank populate the field. It'll do that all in once just by pulling that read trigger and sending that data to the TracerPlus fields so you can capture it. So it's a much faster process for reading user memory banks. It's a pretty powerful feature for those of you that were reading user memory banks in the past. There's no user interaction. You just pull the trigger and you can read both banks. We also have a new feature here. Now this is a subtle feature, but it's actually very interesting. You can now set up a go-to control ID for when the RFID scanning is complete, and that's set up in the same spot as the user memory bank. This feature here, you can put a control ID value in this text box, and what that allows you to do is when you release the trigger and you're done scanning, you can execute some button action on the form. And the most useful case we've seen for this is you can set the button action to be a submit button. So you can have the user actually pull the trigger on the RFID device, read an entire inventory of a room. When they release the trigger, it'll automatically submit all the records that they just read. And then maybe they'll go to the next location to do the inventory. Pull the trigger again, read the contents of that location, let go of the trigger, it submits everything automatically. There's no user intervention other than pulling the trigger. You don't have to actually even review the information on the form. You don't have to hit submit. You don't have to make sure the cursor's in the correct field. You just basically pull the trigger. All of those tags are being read and submitted to the TracerPlus database just by the release of that trigger. So it's a subtle feature here, but a very, very interesting one, and really can speed up RFID reading and also reduce user interaction with the screen. Okay, so that's kind of all I wanted to go into today. We do have a lot of other bug fixes and things like that included into the 8.1 release that I won't go into, and we have a change log up on our support section of TracerPlus.com that will list all of these features as well as any additional features or bug fixes that we have included. So if you guys were looking for a specific bug feature, a bug fix or feature, you'll be able to find it there in our change log, and that's again on the support section of our TracerPlus.com website. If there are any other questions that you guys may have as you're setting things up, because again we encourage everyone to download the TracerPlus 8.1 release. It's available on TracerPlus.com now. And also take a look at some of the new solutions that we've been posting to our Solution Center. We've been trying to add more and more solutions to the Solution Center to kind of show different functions of the software, different features, build on all of those. So we'd like to see the feedback on those as well. So if you guys have any questions, again, as you're setting things up, please feel free to reach out to us to the contact information you see on our website. Or as always, take a look at some of our social media pages here for tips and tricks and upcoming webinars. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate you hopping on the webinar today, and we look forward to you on future webinars. Thanks again.